I am being shortchanged. So politicians have to be less remunerated. You don't come and tell me to be contented with what I have when you as a politician, you are living an ostentatious lifestyle. When you as a politician, you get into office and in 2-3 months' time, you are buying mansions all over the place. You are driving in a convoy of cars. And you have avalanche, a litany of workers working for you, all of them being well paid. A councillor, for example, in 3 months' time, councillors start buying houses all over the town.
Do you think that maybe perhaps this 400 billion we're talking about will increase, because this is a figure that we're looking at between 2015 and 2016? Do you see this increasing or reducing?
I think increasing.
Between now and
2018. It's an easy arithmetic.
But there's a fight against corruption still, and as a matter of fact, the EFCC and even the
there is no fight
ICPC,
against corruption.
The agencies.
There's no fight against corruption. They are persecuting people. They are witch-hunting people. There are a whole lot of other people who are corrupt who are left off. And this is not defending those that they are prosecuting. In any case, how many of those that have been prosecuted have been found guilty at the High Court level? And this is not to say that they may not have committed a crime, but you have to have a crime before you go to court. Where there is no crime, where the elements of crime don't exist, as in mens rea, that is the intention to commit a crime and the action itself. If you as an investigator or as a prosecutor, you've not been able to establish these actions, in spite of the fact that money may have been taken, there will be no conviction. So the 400 billion will increase. You know why? Because money will continue to be increasing. Prices will continue to rise. Prices have never come down in Nigeria. And as prices rise, so will be the demand from the people who are perpetrating these bribery acts be increasing. A policeman that you give 50 naira today, tomorrow will ask for 100 naira, because what 50 naira will be able to buy today, he will not be able to buy it tomorrow. So that is how it will continue to increase.
Structure? Is it about the structure that is not well, excuse me, is it about the structure that is not well laid out to have people, say, paid salaries, pensions being paid? Could that be the reason why this corruption can never be fought?
You see, we have in Nigeria a situation where the pursuit of the means of production is at its extreme worst. Why? Because those who are in the position to have are extremely wicked about their pursuit of it. That to the extent that they try to completely destroy and completely emasculate, completely annihilate those who do not have. So it's a continuous struggle.
Speak to us about how we can fix that structure, just so that people who deserve salaries get paid, pensioners especially, who should be paid their pensions, get paid also.
It's a simple thing, very simple. The first thing Nigeria should do today, look at our neighbors, Benin Republic. Benin Republic is very, very high in the corruption perception index. It is a much less corrupt country. Botswana is one of the best countries in the world. The first thing for us to do is that public sector corruption must stop. Public sector corruption must stop. People who are in political appointments or elected officials of government must be made not to receive very huge salaries and emoluments.
You know,
when you change the structure of reward, and you direct the reward into the appropriate quarters. For example, the NEPA official, permit me to use NEPA, that is the common parlance we all know. The PHCN official that goes out there into the streets to cut lights, and you give him a 500 naira or 1,000 naira, he fixes your life back. You don't get to pay any longer, because you know that when he comes again, you give him 1,000 and he continues to deprive the state or deprive its company of that income.
You know, speaking about perception on this fight against corruption, there are many who have looked at this report and said, how can it be 400 billion? They say that figure may not be correct. Others think it's way beyond what it should really be. But then this report now says 90.2% of those living in the Northwest believe that the government is very effective in fighting corruption. And then you go to the Northeast, the figure is about 88.4%.
Yes.
Then you come down to the North Central, it drops to 72.6%.
Yes.
Look at that one at the Southwest, 68.9%.
Yes.
And then the Southeast, 41.2%, and then the South region say
41.3.
just about 41.3%.
It just shows you the situation that since it's my person that is in power, he is doing well. This is just the simple explanation.
Sentimental.
Sentimental. Look at it. Northwest feels that the government is doing well. That is where the president comes from.
Does that invalidate this report?
No, it doesn't. But that is what it is telling you, that this is what people in that locality, how they think. It does not invalidate. The report is showing clearly how these people think. In the Northwest, people are saying, yes, Buhari, go on, go on. In the Northeast, the same thing. North Central to an extent. Southwest to a whole lot of extent. But in the Southeast and the South-South, they are seeing through the entire situation.
So that means the highest, with the highest percentage, they're actually getting better money commitment.
No, absolutely not. Is it not in the Northeast that with the IDP camps are? That we see what's happening in the IDP camps. The present, in fact, the most corrupt tendencies today will be found in that IDP camps. It is in the Northeast. Yes, they are still thinking that the president or the government is doing well in fighting corruption. It's just nepotic. It's simply tribalistic, simply ethnic.
No, but for instance, the Northeast, 260 billion naira is what is budgeted to be spent in the Northeast to try to give them a sense of civility again. Are you saying, by implication, that that money could be going the way of corruption?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you not seen the children in the IDP camps on TV? How malnourished they are? How international agencies have been crying for effective due process in getting these monies and this food stuff down to the people for whom they were meant. So it shows you that the thinking of the people do not exactly reflect the reality on the ground. People think according to if their person is in power or not. That is just the reality of this particular sentence, this particular paragraph.
Isn't it all the more worrisome that it's even highlighted again in the judiciary that corruption is talked about even at the judges and magistrate level? These are things that really shouldn't be, because I mean, you even heard Mr. Obla saying, look, they brazenly demand that you must pay certain monies to move files from one point to the other.
Let's contextualize it. The corruption is everywhere in Nigeria. It's across every sector, across every family in Nigeria. If you read the report, you see how families are mentioned, where families would rather pay for their wards to be given jobs, would rather pay for their wards to pass exams. It's a social thing. The judges and magistrates are part and parcel of our society. They are our fathers, they are our uncles, they are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our mothers.